Hello and welcome to The Top Story, a podcast with the headlines of the day from our correspondents around the world. I'm Qi Zhi. Coming up in this edition, Chinese President Xi Jinping will travel to Lima next week for the APEC economic leaders meeting and pay a state visit to Peru. Citizens from 9 more countries are able to enjoy visa-free entry into China starting Friday. And a blaze in Southern California has destroyed more than 130 structures and injured at least 10 people. We begin with the upcoming APEC economic leaders meeting in South America. Chinese President Xi Jinping will travel to Lima next week to attend the APEC meetings and pay a state visit to Peru. The Chinese Foreign Ministry says following that trip from Wednesday to Sunday, President Xi will attend the G20 summit in Rio de Janeiro and pay a state visit to Brazil until November the 21st. Next week's APEC meeting comes at a time of economic recovery and low employment. Many Peruvians are hoping the meeting of APEC members from around the Pacific Rim will boost the economy of the host country. Dan Collins reports.
The hosting of the APEC meetings 2024 could not have come at a better time for Peru. As the Andean country recovers from the COVID-19 pandemic, it's hoped that the annual meeting of Pacific Rim members will give the economy a much-needed boost.
APEC itself is very important. 60% of the world economy is generated by the 21 economy. 50% of world trade is generated by those economies, and in that group is the biggest economy in the world. United States, the second biggest, China, and the 4 or 5 Japan. So first, because of that summit that's going to be held at the middle of November, the world attention will be in Peru.
Peru's foreign ministry announced that 16 leaders, including presidents and prime ministers, will take part in the mid-November meeting. This is where business leaders and heads of state will be mingling next week, signing off Peru hopes on new deals that will give the nation a better footing in the global economy. The multi-purpose port in Chancay, 80 kilometers north of Lima, is expected to become a hub for trade between Asia and Latin America. Its launch coincides with the APEC meetings, as the $3.6 billion port is set to be up and running by the end of the year. Part of the Belt and Road Initiative, the facility will be the first in the region to have the capacity to berth some of the world's biggest cargo ships. By slashing freight times by as much as 12 days, the new port will cut costs and make Peruvian products, from textiles to minerals to fruit and vegetables, more competitive.
We have been very close to the US for several decades. And now, in the last years, of course, China has been very active, in terms of participating in our trade flows and investment. The way we see it is that these two big guys will set up their own policies, and we have to check and see what is best for Peru.
This will be the third time Peru has hosted the APEC meetings, and Peruvians are enthusiastic about the employment and investment opportunities.
I would like this year's APEC to address the issue of investments and the opportunities they will provide. I would like to see more companies created so that there are more opportunities and more work for many Peruvians, and the economy improves for everyone.
More and more youngsters are studying Chinese Mandarin in order to take full advantage of the opportunities. With so many nations situated around the Pacific, Peru wants to open its doors to all APEC members, as it welcomes new economic possibilities.
That was Dan Collins on expectations for the APEC meeting in Peru. In North America, fire officials say a blaze in Southern California has destroyed more than 130 structures, mostly homes. The fire that started in Ventura County on Wednesday has injured at least 10 people. Authorities expect a wildfire north of Los Angeles to ease, with fierce winds expected to subside. Elias Tianshan has more from Los Angeles.
Wildfires spreading at what officials describe at a dangerous rate are tearing across parts of Southern California. As many as 25 million people could be affected in some areas northwest of Los Angeles. Officials are urging evacuations. Hundreds of firefighters have been deployed, As of Thursday morning, there has been zero containment.
This is a classic Santa Ana wind event. We've got sustained winds more than 50 miles an hour with gusts over 80. Every firefighter in the region, all of our partners from Los Angeles City, Los Angeles County, Orange County, Kern County, Santa Barbara County, our partners at CAL FIRE, our partners in the sheriff, every law enforcement agency available, every helicopter, every fixed-wing aircraft, everything we've been able to get a hold of is here fighting this fire. And it is moving at a dangerous rate of spread.
Firefighters say embers blown from the main fire have led to additional fires many kilometers away. Thousands of homes and businesses are threatened. The utility company has shut off power to more than 65,000 customers in areas where wires are at high risk of sparking a wildfire.
Our goal as law enforcement, much like fire, is preserving life and preserving structures. We have made over 14,000 contacts to evacuate people within the community. Please continue to stay out of the area unless you absolutely need to be here. Please stay away.
Red Cross volunteers have turned an evacuation center into an overnight shelter as more evacuations are expected with the Santa Ana winds showing no signs of easing.
That was Edis Tianshan reporting. Turning to Asia, citizens from 9 more countries can now enjoy visa-free entry into China. The visa exemptions for countries including South Korea, Norway and Finland take effect on Friday. It allows visa-free travel for up to 15 days for business, tourism, family visits or transit. Jack Barton has industry reactions from Seoul.
We're getting some figures in for hotel bookings in China by South Korean tourists. All of the agencies saying reservations are well up. One of them saying it's almost a 5-fold increase since before this announcement. So it's a very big increase. The government here welcoming the move, saying they're expecting growth to go further. The transport minister, Lee Jae-woong, saying that he thought this would not only deepen tourism, but also create a deeper mutual understanding, in his words, and also a greater atmosphere of friendliness between China and South Korea. And while this announcement of the visa-free travel came a few months after the ministers of Japan, South Korea and China, the tourism ministers met together announcing they would try and boost tourism numbers in East Asia up to 40 million annual visitors by 2030, which would be 10 million more than pre-pandemic levels. And of course, this growth we're going to see now comes on top of what we've really seen is a lot of growth this year. The first half of the year, we saw a tripling of the numbers of South Koreans heading to China from the same period of the year before, but that was still only 70% of pre-pandemic levels. So the latest moves are really expected to get those numbers either up to the pre-pandemic levels of Koreans visiting China or potentially even beyond.
That was Jack Barton on the increasing interest in travel between China and South Korea. Meanwhile, China and the Solomon Islands announced reciprocal visa waivers on Thursday. China will also issue Lanshan Mekong visas for Cambodia, Laos, Myanmar, Thailand and Vietnam. Qualified business people will have the option of a 5-year multiple entry visa to China. Still in Asia, over 400 new products, technologies and services are on display at the ongoing China International Import Expo in Shanghai. Foreign exhibitors see this mega trade fair as a chance to localize their offerings for the Chinese market. Dou Hongyu spoke with participating companies about how they are using this platform to expand their influence in China.
我们今年带了2个大系列。
Pakistani jeweler Akil Ahmed Chowdhury is proudly introducing his new designs, speaking fluent Mandarin at his booth filled with shiny jewelry. The aisles are bustling with customers eager to explore his new products, leaving Chowdhury no time to rest during the expo. However, 5 years ago, he feared his display would be ignored, as few Chinese knew about Pakistani jewelry. But that initial display became a vital opportunity to introduce Pakistani craftsmanship to Chinese consumers.
No, I didn't expect that our jewelry will have such a warm welcome from Chinese audience. They were surprised that Pakistan could have such high quality jewelries, to be very honest, and we told what we do. They saw our gems and jewelry. It was a very good experience, and we also received a lot of inquiries even after the show.
Since then, Chowdhury has attended the expo every year, using it as a key platform to launch its new designs. Previous launches always resulted in soaring orders.
We have this collection, it's My Windsor collection. It was firstly launched on the third CIE. Soon after the launch, the whole collection was sold within a few weeks. This is one of the hot-selling collection in our stores.
The recognition he received has empowered him to open stores in China.
During the CIE, we received a lot of appreciation, and we had this confidence that if we invest money and we open the store here, we will have a lot of good response from the consumer market. So far we have 2 direct retail stores and many store-in-store.
Many exhibitors like Chowdhury are debuting products at the week-long expo, with some hosting ceremonies to attract potential partners and buyers. Over the years, the trade event has presented around 2,500 new products. In addition to making connections, companies seek greater exposure for their exhibits to reach more consumers across China. Kieran Fenzeo from South Africa says the visibility gained for his rooibos tea has boosted online sales.
Shortly after the CIE, we found that our orders grew by a factor of 3. It was not just the sales of rooibos in the offline sector that started doing better, but also in the online sector. The main reason was that many different kinds of media, they visited our stand and they helped us to do promotions.
The company has also connected with online influencers to boost live stream sales. South Africa is experiencing positive effects from the exhibition. The increased orders have created job opportunities in the local rooibos tea industry in a country where the unemployment rate stands at over 32%.
In South Africa, many people are responsible for growing this tea. It employs 5,000 people in South Africa. Before, we were probably only needed 3,000 people.
To ensure that foreign goods receive lasting support to thrive after the expo, efforts to convert exhibits into commodities continue year-round. For example, Shanghai has established a trading service system that offers streamlined support for businesses, under which more than 350,000 types of products from the CIIE have entered the Chinese market.
Dr. Stowe Hongyu reporting from Shanghai. Finally, in Africa, experts in Nigeria are calling on the government to address a major shortage of healthcare workers. According to the World Health Organization, Africa could soon face a shortage of over 5 million healthcare workers. However, Nigeria is among the hardest hit, with an estimated shortfall of 1 million workers. Many are choosing to work in Western countries where they see more favorable terms and conditions of employment. Ajek Mangat has more.
Nigeria's healthcare sector faces a critical shortage of medical professionals, with the demand for patient care far outweighing the supply of healthcare workers.
We came to this hospital to see an orthopedic doctor, but there's no doctor available to attend to us, so we're heading to another hospital.
It doesn't matter the condition you're in, for so long as you come after they have 100 patients, you cannot see the doctor. So they'll book you for another appointment. So pray God it's not that critical. The doctors are very few and the patients are more.
The World Health Organization says Nigeria has the third biggest shortage of healthcare workers in the world. Poor pay and welfare, insecurity, among other factors, have resulted in hundreds of healthcare professionals migrating abroad each year.
Level of brain drain affects people's ability to access quality and timely health care. There are lots of facilities that are even completely abandoned, especially in conflict-ridden areas. So people can't access quality health care. If they can't access quality health care in a timely manner when they need it, it means that our health indices continue to worsen. So the maternal mortality ratios, maternal death ratios, maternal child death ratios, all of those are affected and they were worsened because we can't access care.
Health experts say the government needs to put measures in place to retain those who remain, while encouraging those who have left to return.
Creating an enabling environment that allows people that have left to come back. And come back contributes again to the talent pool, set up clinics, set up specialized clinics, improve working conditions. And you can't improve working conditions without improving the health system as a whole. Things like having properly equipped facilities, training healthcare workers and equipping them to see patients and to save lives, essentially. And then retaining them is what you put in place in your system that allows them to want to stay back. So things like remuneration, things like training and career advancement opportunities.
In August, health authorities announced a national policy on health workforce migration designed to woo back Nigerian health workers practicing abroad.
The government is looking to attract over 12,000 health workers back to the country by providing incentives such as soft loans and grants for establishing private health centers. It is also looking to provide training for health workers, career development opportunities, and a better working environment. But experts say the government's initiative would only work if the policy is properly implemented and the welfare package for returning health workers is competitive.
That was Ajik Mangat reporting. Now, recapping the headlines, Chinese President Xi Jinping will travel to Lima next week for the APEC economic leaders meeting and pay a state visit to Peru. Citizens from 9 more countries are able to enjoy visa-free entry into China starting Friday. And the blaze in Southern California has destroyed more than 130 structures and injured at least 10 people. And that's it for this edition of The Top Story, a podcast that brings you world headlines every weekday. For more news in politics and business, sports and culture, you can subscribe to the Beijing Hour, a 1-hour podcast news magazine program. We would welcome and appreciate all ratings and reviews. I'm Qi Zhi. Thanks for listening.